What's up? This is Ron K. Armstrong, filmmaker extraordinaire, with another video for you. And today I want to be talking about the movie Brightburn. And this just recently came out. I got a chance to catch it. And it was very, very interesting. All I've got to say is, where is Batman when you need him? This is a very interesting movie that you can look at from a couple of different perspectives. For number one, it really is a horror film, and I think it works very well as a horror film, okay? But it really is kind of like a retelling of the Superman story. It's about this kid named Brandon, and very similar to the Superman origin story. The parents, the mother played by Elizabeth Banks, she was a hottie at one time, still is pretty cute. And the father, played by David Denham, they find Brandon as a baby from this ship or meteor that crashed to the earth, and they raise him as one of their own, as a human, as their son. Now, throughout this course of raising him, they never tell him about his true origins. And lo and behold, the kid grows up and, as a normal kid, has questions. He's going through puberty, but things take a dark turn, and he starts to come into an awakening of his powers, which are basically all the same powers as Superman. He has X-ray vision. He's basically invulnerable. He doesn't get sick. He can't get cut. And there is no kryptonite. But in a way, I'm not going to spoil it for you. So, not like Clark Kent or Kal-El from Superman, who wanted to do good and had Jor-El kind of mentor him through the Fortress of Solitude. Brandon really didn't have that. Well, in a way, because the ship that he crash landed on Earth is in the barn. He finds it. But instead of this voice, and I'm not going to give it away, mentoring him like Jor-El, he's given different information. But anyway, let me get to the point of this. Instead of Brandon wanting to do good and understanding the difference, he comes into an understanding that he is different, and that difference makes him superior. And that's basically how the story is set in motion. And what you see is just a film filled with carnage. Now, just imagine Superman turned evil. What in the world could you do? Nothing. The planet would just have to submit to his rule. Now, this is what we're getting with Brightburn. We're getting this young kid, maybe an evil Superboy, who has all these powers. He can fly. He's impenetrable. Has X-ray vision, but laser vision, and he just doesn't give a damn about humanity. And this is what you have. And the sad part about it is his parents, who are so loving and really wanted the kid to grow up to be good, to be important, and to realize that he is their son. Instead of that happening, Brandon rejects that, understands that he is superior, and goes from that basis. So the film is really great. The special effects are awesome, and it's kind of scary. I mean, after I saw the film, I couldn't sleep thinking about, what do you do if you have the son of Krypton turned evil? How could the world defend itself? And I said, well, the only person that could probably challenge him is Batman, if Batman had time to prepare. So, and what they're trying to do, this was, I think, produced by James Gunn, who did the Guardians of the Galaxy. So I think they're trying to do a shared universe where this could be a setup for Brandon, the evil Superman, to maybe fight Superman in the future, or cross those films. I think that would be very, very interesting to see that. But don't go into this film thinking you're going to see this really cool superhero film. It's a film that's very dark. That's a horror film, because you're going to be shocked, and you're going to have there's some scares in the film, and the way Brandon kills people is kind of sadistic in a way, and you're going to see that. It's very graphic. So be prepared for that. But as I said before, I think if you look at it from a horror film, it works very well. If you're trying to look at it from a superhero origin story. Don't do that because that's not what it is. But the way they develop the characters, especially Brandon Breyer, is just so good. Because I can actually, when there's a scene that I really loved where Brandon is with his father, David, right? And his father's trying to explain to him the birds and the bees. And you can see Brandon as a youngster, but he's twisted a bit, misinterpreting what his father is saying. Whereas a normal kid would be like, oh, okay, so birds and bees, guys get together with girls and procreate or whatever. In Brandon's mind, because he has his power, the way he's interpreting from his father is that I can take what I want and do what I want, you know? And so you actually, and I give credit to the writer, the screenwriters, that they developed that because it's not just that Brandon just is evil. You can actually see the path and how he gets to that place of being evil. You know what I mean? And of course, we know living here on this planet that not everybody is good. And I think, and then there's a really great ending to the film. I really love the ending, and I'm not going to give it away, but there's a really cool effects scene at the end between Brandon and his mother. And also, not only just the effects, but the emotional, the emotions and the love that she has, again, played by Elizabeth Banks, for Brandon. You can feel that. And she doesn't know what to do. She knows that he has to be stopped, but it is her son. And she even tries to communicate this to Brandon, like, I don't care what you have done, I will always love you in the end. And there's a point where Brandon buys into that, and you think, oh, he's going to turn good now. And so you'll watch the film and see what happens, but it's really good. And I think films like this work well because the writers take time to develop the story, the character arcs, and you buy into it. Because there's a lot of things that are going on now, especially with identity politics, where you have these characters that are so unrealistic and they say things just totally out of the ballpark. There's an interesting thing about this film, too. There's one scene in particular where Brandon's father tries to do something. And you know it's a bad idea, a really bad idea. And it's almost in a way, as I say, well, why would the writers write that? Because common sense tells you that that's a bad idea. But then when you look at the emotional place the father is at, you can see why he would do it in a way, because he doesn't know what to do. I mean, and looking at it from a male perspective, a father is the figurehead. He's the power figure in the family. And Brandon has these superpowers. So that is basically usurping the father's role. So what is he to do? So you do kind of buy into the course of action that he takes. Though I feel we all wouldn't do that, most people wouldn't do that, you still can buy into it. And when he takes that pivotal action, it changes his relationship with his son, Brandon, in a way. And we can see that, and we can totally understand Brandon's perspective at that point. You can say, oh, I see now why Brandon is now looking at his father in this way. So it's a great film. Check it out. I don't think it's getting a lot of the props that it deserves. And I really hope that they can merge the universes or do something very interesting, like maybe have him and Superman fight each other, or because this would be a very, very interesting crossover or shared universe film. So anyway, that's Brightburn. This is Ron K. Armstrong, filmmaker extraordinaire. And until my next film, or until my next video, make films.